Welcome everyone to Demo Time. This is one of my favorite sessions at Tech Alley because we get to focus on all of the amazing people in our communities that are building things. We get everything from engineers who are building something just because they can. I am so envious of your talent and skill. To people who are actually building startups and launching them right here in our own backyard in Las Vegas. So for today, we have two people presenting. One of them is very, very early stage, and she's going to go through what she's got and the direction that she can go in. And then we have Tony over here who's going to introduce the technology he's been building. If you remember him from last time, the way that technology works is sometimes the night before you're about to present, everything breaks. So today Tony is back to show us what happens the month after everything breaks and you get a chance to fix everyone. Let's give him support.
Thank you, Sami. Even funnier, if only it happened the night before, I probably could have fixed it. It happened 30 minutes before. I literally can't make that up. And then right after I left, the developer texts, hey, it's working. So funny story, because now when it is working, where you see your vision, you're never gonna let that stop you from things that go wrong, right? So now I have a whole slide deck, MVP, everything, so when you really let that, push you to really showcase what your vision is, nothing can stop you. And I just want to start off with one question, because a lot more of my mad scientistness, as I was building this, I think we stumbled on something that was a little too powerful to give to the masses. Question, how much would you pay one of these guys to coach either you personally or your sales team? Unlimited, right? Because you know any one of these guys comes in and what their value of what they charge. So the problem, not only with this model of coaching, of getting that, we wanted to essentially find a way where, okay, we have such a powerful technology, we can't give it in the hands of every person. What's a way that we can actually give it into the hands of everyday people? Would be actually partnering with individuals like this and saying, hey, we'll license this out because the technology is too powerful to give to the masses. We'll give it in variations with your brand image. So you have Tony Robbins bot now, instead of needing to pay him for one-on-one coaching. And whatever influencers or other individuals that want to, partner with us, obviously we're on board to do that and help them with, recreating themselves, duplicating themselves to be there for unlimited amount of people. This is just a little bit of our team, just kind of some of our advisors, some mentors that kind of have helped me. Just where we specialize in this technology was initially creating just a virtual assistant that could kind of do everything for you. But like I said, as you start creating things, I think there needs to be more people that are in the AI space specifically, that are pro-human, that are leading the charge, like myself, that I don't want to replace every single person's job, because this technology could do that already. Right? But we want to roll it out in variations where we enhance sales professionals. We're creating the mundane tasks that you guys don't have to do anymore, and really helping create more sustainable growth, because I'm a sales guy. I've done door-to-door sales, cold calling, I've done it all, right? So to be able to have a technology where I don't believe you're ever going to replace a salesperson. If anything, we want to empower and make the best sales staff that you can possibly have through AI. And we have a couple of just examples of just the problems, not just with AI, but like I said, so to pay, for example, like Grant Cardone, he doesn't do it anymore, but he used to go, and that's how he started in his career, was coaching sales teams, right? And he'd make 6-7 figures for these organizations to come do sales coaching, right? So in today's market, there's plenty of sales gurus, sales coaches, right? But we have a technology that can literally be on the Zoom call with you, answering, okay, you only have this much time left, stay on track here, have everything that the salesperson needs to have right there, so that they're closing and they're staying on track with the person that they're presenting in front of, right? So imagine having Tony Robbins or Alex Hormozi sitting right next to you on your sales call. What would you pay for that? Unlimited, right? And so people think, oh, you can just kind of go grab their technology, or maybe just put it on OpenAI, train the bot and learn it. And what we're doing is a lot more sophisticated than that. And especially for growth as a company, when we're asking for funding, just going through OpenAI is very costly. A lot of founders don't realize that. So we're actually taking off the language model of pushing it to the AI to where we have our own internal database, to where it's lower costing because you're not searching for the answers. The answers are already everything that is within the AI trained off its language model. And we have other just problems that I see that a lot of these other robo companies, like the FCC created a law for robo spam. So I'm sure you guys, like, how many people actually like when you're calling in to like an AT&T or Verizon and you deal with the bot? Oh, one person, and I think he's lying. So honestly, who actually really, no, please speak to a representative. Like, how often, quick first words that come out of your mouth. So in an ideal world, this is what we want to do, because this technology, you literally could just set it, forget it, say, hey, go close 30 people for me with this sale by the end of next week. It'll do that for you. But I can't release that to the masses because then too many scams, too many issues. So now we have to create people like this that know how powerful what they have, but are finding ways uniquely to still bring it into the market for the masses, to where we can make sure that we're not having issues. Because personally, I'm not going to keep having this robot keep out calling people if we can get sued for that. You know what I mean? We're more like, hey, if someone's calling you inbound, or if someone's already opted in and they know they're expecting a call from a robot, then it's okay. You know, so there's a lot of more compliance and issues that we're going to be restricting for people, because I didn't really get too heavily into kind of like why ours specifically is kind of just going to be superior than anyone. One of the advisors that I have is a gentleman, Wyatt Woodsmall. He's like one of the godfathers of NLP. I don't know if you guys know what neuro-linguistic programming is, but he's the person that wrote the book on it. You know, so a lot of these people say, oh, are you analytical, or are you aggressive, or whatever your, you know, personality type is. This gentleman literally over 30, 40 years of just researching who makes what out of people, right? What makes people successful, what separates them, and all those things. We've taken all of that and now put it in this. So not only does it know you better than you, but it knows your clients better than you. And that's the scary part. That's why we can't just say, okay, go crazy with it, because it's the most advanced sales persuasion that you can ever think of put into a machine. You can see where, you know, restrictions and things have to come in for that. So that's why we plan on, you know, taking it to market in a unique way, where, and these are some of the features, again, like I was saying. So, you know, again, you could just set it and forget it. You just say, hey, I want 30 new leads by the end of the week, go. You know, there's no other bots that are letting you take it to that point, right? And so that's why we're obviously creating something different, to where now we're gonna let people have part ownership in it. So one of the markets that we're seeking to really attack is going to be not just the influencer market, like a Neil Patel or whatever major influencers you guys have maybe heard of, within certain sectors, whether it be like a real estate guru, or, you know what I mean? There's so many different people that you can do in the coaching space. But specifically, our market is also going to be Fortune 500s, because a lot of these Fortune 500 clients, they're not going to just go to OpenAI and just say, okay, I want all my data open sourced. You know, they want proprietary software and products. So our plan is to provide that, because we're completely self-hosted. We're not, you know, relying on some of the popular language models that I personally don't think are starting to become worse and worse. I don't think OpenAI is going to be around much longer if they keep limiting how good it is for people, you know what I mean? So more language models are going to keep coming out in replace of that, right? And so we're just essentially positioning it to where, what if every single one of you could own partnership in a product that you're selling back to these companies that are going to use this on you anyways, you know what I mean? So it's like these companies, like the Coca-Colas or the AT&Ts or whatever, right? They're using their proprietary softwares and technologies, but you guys aren't getting any of that. You know what I mean? And it's being used on you. So what if now you guys can own what's being used on you, but it's okay because you're profiting, you're directly having a benefit to that. And so that's essentially what our business model has created. And don't worry, it's working. At the end of this, I'll give you guys an example. You can, if you're interested and you want to learn more, we're talking with Start Engine, so we have not finalized anything yet, but we are going to go public on Start Engine, so we'll have a crowdfunding model available, because to me as a small business owner, I created this product for small business owners. The last person I would ever want to do is leave out the people that I created this for. But in my creation of it, like I said, I think there needs to be more business owners like myself or other people that are leading the charge, but also have a humanistic mindset and saying, how can I bring other people with me and not just have a really cool idea that I can, take and sell to these Fortune 500s. It's having other people that help be a part of that process. And so that's what we're here to do. And this is one of our competitors, just recently got $1.8 million in funding. So our idea, we understand, is viable. It's there, the market's ready. Now it's just speed and time. So realistically, we're giving an opportunity for everybody to join in with us in positioning this to the market. So again, just going over the crowdfunding and kind of our business models. But if you guys, again, and we plan on taking we don't need a lot, right? We can raise up to 5 million in crowdfunding, just alone. But we're going to take at least 2 million of like what our hard ask. We have, investment bankers that we're working with to continue to fund us, and where we plan to take this, because I'm a visionary. I like to take this product to the reaches of the world where they can take this technology and help their ecosystem. Like, I'm very big in community development and where this can go. So this is not just a money making tool. Of course, that's what it's going to be for, but it's going to go to good use, go to a good cause. So of course, all of that will be a part of our business plan and what we're doing. So if you guys are interested and you guys want to learn more, experience the bot, please scan the QR code. It'll take you to the Facebook page. It'll just show you a quick example of like, okay, you could have a post on Facebook. Now it's interacting with your audience. I don't have it like capturing your guys' information or anything. It's going to redirect you to my website, because I want you guys to actually opt in on the website. So if you go to bot close, the opposite of open, close.com, or scan this QR code, and you guys can get more information on when we decide to officially launch for our crowdfunding, and then anybody else that's interested in partnering with this, being along for the journey. And we hope that this pro-human approach inspires more AI entrepreneurs in the future. So thank you guys.
We have time for a couple of questions. I have one.
Yes.
Can you talk about the timeline for developing this? How did you make this?
Yep. So started the company back in January. Again, people were like, hey, Tony, I keep getting spam calls, or I keep getting like, I'll show you guys a quick example. I promise it won't take more than a second. A lot of my clients were getting missed calls, text backs. So if I try to call my business right now, I'll show you guys an example.
You have a trial account. You can remove this message at thanks for the call. Configure your number's voice URL.
Hold on, I'll call it this one.
This call will be recorded for quality purposes.
So I'm gonna hang up because like it's supposed to mimic I missed the call, right? And then I'll show you guys. So now that I missed this phone call, we have a place where you can host it, whether it's in your CRM, whether it's in a spreadsheet, it doesn't matter, right? It interacts with whatever you want it to. And now it's gonna start interacting with me. So it just sent me this text message. What do you need? Basically, I already did this example, so I'll go quick. I just need to get more information on your AI services. And so then it's gonna respond to me. I'm getting notifications, okay. You guys can see in real time, what's your name? My name is Tony B. And so yeah, I'm just interacting with it right now. I missed the call. And so the cool thing I'll show you guys, what I really wanna show you is it's gonna call me, the robot, and I'm gonna have a conversation with it. And so that's the coolest part about it, right? So like, yes, we're working on enhancing it, making it better, but it's at least it works, right? Because last time I couldn't even demonstrate this to you guys. So I'm gonna say no thanks for my email, not interested. And it takes time, right? It tries to interact like, okay, like a human's texting you, it's not gonna just instantly respond, right? So we try to create this more human-esque, even in like how we text, how we respond, using emojis, little things like that. So now it's saying, okay, do you want a live call from our agent? We call it closer, for sales. So now I'm gonna get a call, and then I'll play it for you guys.
You can remove this message.
Hey Tony, this is Closer calling from BotClose regarding your need to get more info on AI services.
I'm sorry, what is this? What are you calling for again?
Oh, I'm from BotClose. You left us a message about wanting more information on our AI services. What specifically would you like to know more about?
How are you gonna help me increase my revenue?
Excellent question. We specialize in integrating AI and automation into your marketing strategy, which can streamline your processes, enhance lead generation, and improve customer engagement. This often results in higher conversion rates and increased revenue. Would you like to explore how our services can specifically benefit your business?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Could you provide some insight into your current challenges or goals, particularly in the areas of AI, automations, or marketing?
I don't have a lot of time to talk right now. Is there any way that you can give me a call back later? Because I'm pretty busy.
No worries at all.
Sorry, he has a hard time sometimes. But. Sometimes when he hears himself, it has a hard time with the feedback. So, hey, I'm busy right now, closer. Can you reach back out later?
Still there? What date and time would be best for me to give you a call back? Sure thing. I'll reach out later to find a convenient time for you.
Okay.
Have a great day ahead, and I'll.
So yeah, so it's little things, but for the most part, you can see. So yeah, sorry, that was a little longer than I wanted, but any other questions?
That callback, was that expected already?
Yeah, I just called myself, right? So I pre-programmed it to where I purposely hung up because it's part of it. It will trigger if you miss the call. So if you're.
I know, but I'm saying the initial call, right?
No, the programming. So we just give it a little bit of barriers, parameters, and then the AI just does it itself. I just say.
The reason I'm asking is normally now when I get an unexpected call, one of the first things I will ask the thing is if it's a robot, right? And we start going back and forth with it and see what it is. And if it is a robot, and it was an unsolicited call, right, then it's going to get blocked and marked as spam, and that's why I'm asking.
So that's why I said I don't let people use this tech because it's too good. I'm not going to let you just get a list and just go call because those people are not expecting your call. You know what I mean? So I don't want to get sued. Neither do I want them to. You know what I mean? So yes, I hate robocalls. I hate spam, and I don't think they're very good either. You know what I mean? I'm a sales guy. I don't think I can ever be replaced by AI, but I know how much AI makes me better in what I do, and that's what we want to do for everybody else. So hopefully that answers. Anybody else?
With your example, was the audio generated in real time dynamically?
Yeah, so we can, right now, we have trained, we have 11 labs that we use, but we eventually, that's why we're seeking funding, is as quickly as we can get away from some of these open source platforms, and because AT&T is not going to want, you know what I mean, an OpenAI or some of these language models that we're using right now to showcase, right? So we're getting funding because we have the development team. Now we just need to just say, okay, let's, cost money to get the servers, the GPUs, and all the storage that we're looking to, have on our self-hosted. So we have a server that we're pushing this on already for the demonstration purposes, but we still use 11 Labs or OpenAI, and we're looking to eventually just completely not have to use those.
With your demonstration, was it live? Are you able to?
Yeah, this was live. I just called just now. Yeah, so you guys could call the phone. I mean, it's trial. I don't want to waste the minutes, so you know what I mean. That's why I called it and went through it. But yeah. Yes, sir.
I guess what's stopping? Is there a lot of safeguards that really stop you from taking that next step that you were talking about? I guess the anti-human approach, as it were, right? Because your competitor, I feel like another competitor can come out.
Oh, all the competitors are going to want to just sell this to the masses, and I think that's why I'm okay being with our approach and saying, hey, we're not going to. It's because, like I said, our proprietary training on the NLP is scary how good it is. If it knows us all better than that's the sales 101, right? If it can make you make a decision that you're not wanting to make, I have to be restrictive on who gets access, how they get access, and how we use those parameters. Because, for instance, like if we go to a Fortune 500 client, I sell them this software, and then one of their sales person says, oh, this is great, I'm gonna go rogue with this. We can't do that, you know what I mean? I have to keep it within how that company wants it used, within those specific parameters, because then they can just say, okay, I'm gonna go sell my side hustle with this. You know what I mean? No, you can't do that. Anybody else?
What does the team look like? Because you guys built this out if you started in January, 3 months, right?
Yeah.
So what does the team need to look like in order to build something like this in such a small amount of time?
Lean. I think this is an update. It doesn't show their pictures. I just put them in. But a lean team. I'm not even the CEO, and my other co-founder is not the CEO, because our vision is bigger than us. And we want somebody that has a track record of coming in, producing revenue for companies to be the CEO. I'm fine being a CIO and just letting this idea come to life. You know what I mean? And similar to him, he's a technology guy. We actually met a gentleman here. So I'd say get out and network, because I met somebody here at Tech Alley who had an amazing AI tech that was already way far advanced for what I was looking for. And the gentleman, Matt, and maybe you guys might know him, but he's like one of the smartest engineers I've ever met. Just his advanced knowledge on AI superiors anyone I've ever spoken to, right? So when you're out there networking and getting with these people, like we have a lean team. We only have 3 people, you know what I mean? You don't need a massive team. You just need like the sales, the marketing guy, which is myself, the technology people, which I have, and that's all you really need. Because I know people that can do this with solo. Like people are raising millions of dollars just as a one-man team with no technology experience, just building stuff on Bubble or Make, no code apps. So I'd say realistically it depends on you, but we have an advisory board as well for like some top tier, like Jeffrey Gitomer. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he's like sales guru, one of the OGs, 30, 40 years in the business, you know what I mean? So having credibility with those people, I think also helps you when going to market, because you might have a great idea, but then when people who are vetted 30 years in the industry can back you and say, yes, I support this, is a different conversation.
Any last questions? Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Technology is really cool, right? I will say this, I don't do great with robocalls. I actually don't do great with calls at all. Like my phone is always on Do Not Disturb. Please text me. So we have a lot of engineers in the room. We have more engineers than business side today, which is always fun. We're about to have Alicia, whose background is in data science, show us what she's doing. Because when you start your first business or second business or however many businesses, but you're the only person there, sometimes you don't get to be the tech person or the business person. Sometimes you have to be both. And being both is really, really hard. And eventually at some point you go, okay, which one of these am I gonna specialize in? Because in order for this to succeed long term, we're gonna need someone to focus on all of the tech and someone else to focus on all of the business. So today Alicia is gonna take us through 2 things. The first one is the core of what she has today. Then we're gonna pause, take a quick break. And then she's gonna ask for our help to help build out her vision for where she wants to go next. Because as someone who has to do all of the tech work and all of the business work, she's going, I need help. So I will say this, I really, really love this community. At the end of the day, it's really scary to do what we call build in public. To say out loud, I'm gonna try something, knowing that there's a chance, and a really good one, that I'm going to fail. And I'm gonna do it in public so that other people can learn from my mistakes, but hopefully other people will also help. So today, we're gonna get to learn from what she's doing, but let's also try to help. Alicia, you ready?
I am ready. Hello, I'm Alicia Powers. My company is CoreHarmonic. It's a social media app for introverts. I identify as an introvert, but I am a well-practiced in extroverted behaviors, which allows me to be up here and do this presentation. I have slides. I'm going to go through them. They're on the more business side, and then we'll actually go to the app and talk about that. So social media, everybody recognizes these around the world. It's everywhere. But it's a scary place for a lot of people. Everybody is aware of all the things that they talk about why social media is bad or horrible or terrible. One of the things I want to say is for people who are introverted, social media can be anxiety producing, it can be difficult to be heard. There are a lot of issues around being an introvert. And so these are just some introverts. A lot of times people think introverts are people who kind of hide from people, or they're shy, or they don't talk to other people. It's not the case. It's just a preference about how they like to engage the world. So introverts value small and close groups. They like quiet and privacy. They're often introspective and creative. And if you think about social media, and then you think about introverts, and you draw a Venn diagram, it's not a lot of overlap. For introverts, they have to endure fast-paced messages from many, many people. You're forced to interact with strangers, and sometimes that are uncomfortable ways, and you struggle to be heard. And the struggle to be heard is actually not very unique to introverts, because social media is only getting louder every day. The AI-generated content that is happening now and is only going to become more and more prevalent is going to make it very hard for the algorithms to really serve up the right information. There's not a lot of transparency in the algorithms used. So, I don't know, they say a few years ago it's like 50 billion pieces of information per day being generated on Twitter or Facebook. The barrier to entry to social media has gone down to 0 and maybe even negative if you set it and forget it. There's going to be so much content out there, and the algorithms are going to navigate it. And how are you going to make sure that you're going to get the information that you actually want to see, or what your friends are actually doing? There's also decision fatigue, because now you have so much information, you're trying to figure out, is this something that I care about? Is this something that's true? Is this a bot, or is this a real person? There's a lot that goes on in interacting with social media. The number one reason people say they use people on the internet say they use social media is to keep up with friends and family. CoreHarmonic is a safe place online where people can communicate with close friends and family. Now, there's a lot of communication that happens on social media, but it's a lot of talking at each other, or yelling a particular point of view, or people trying to say what everybody wants to hear, or people trying to offend people. That's all communication, but it's not necessarily communication that leads to improved relationships, productivity, reducing conflict, and even kindness. So the features of CoreHarmonic are private and encrypted text, chat, blogging. We minimize stranger contact with social proof, and I'll show you that feature. There's better communication because we have chat bubbles that allow you to communicate your information in a way that's really unique to you. And there's an AI assisted supported by a trusted knowledge graph. And I can get into that because there's some technical things to it. AI at CoreHarmonic means I can provide answers to questions that only your data knows. So let's really be honest about what social media actually is. Yes, you can talk to your friends. Yes, you can, but it's a data collection service. That's mostly what they're used for. And so what I'm offering is a data collection service that is unique to you. It is for you. You make it yourself, and you can use it to do lots of other things. We also integrate with the Internet of Things. And then the main core of what we do is provide recommendations. Again, we're at a point where there's so much content, and it's really about how do you navigate the right content to the right person at the right time. We do not create, send, or receive messages on your behalf, and we're not like a coach for, we're not like Grammarly or something like that. We don't coach your communication skills. So this is kind of some of the business stuff. The market for social media is $219 billion, 5.3 billion users. I don't know if this actually matches, like if we talk about the business stuff, matches my business model, because it's a little bit different. And people in the US use around 6 to 7 apps. The main thing I want to be clear about is introverts are a different market. They value meaningful communication. They're also more likely to shop online. They prioritize privacy and safety. And so I think this is a unique market that actually isn't really being served well and could actually yield a lot of money. Let's look at competitors. The main stuff, I don't know how private it is. We know in the news it's probably not that private. And it tends to be pretty noisy. And with AI coming out and all this stuff, it's going to get very noisy. And their algorithms are huge, but they take a lot of time. Well, I won't talk about the tech stuff on that side, but I'm really curious to see in 6 months, 12, to see what the big guys are going to do with their algorithms. You have other things like Discord, Mastodon, Telegram. They're private, but they're not as easy to use out of the box. People who use them generally know what they're looking for. So it's a little bit different than what I'm trying to build. There are a host of family and neighborhood-focused apps that are, again, getting at this communicating with the people you're closest to. So like Cozy has 20 million users, and I think they're owned by Time Inc. And it's basically an app that you share with your friend. You have a shared to-do list. You have a shared calendar. It's a very useful app. And there's the neighborhood app. But really what my app would replace is your phone. If you think about the people you're closest to, your partner, your family members, all that kind of information relay that you do are usually living in your text messages. Sometimes people have a shared calendar app, but usually there's not a lot of application around keeping that data, understanding it, and using it. Business model. Platform is free. Right now it's 18 plus years old. Mostly because I want to guarantee safety and I want to make sure it's safe. Families can join together, so I think a lot about older parents with caretakers or college-age students, again, where families are trying to organize things, put things together, communicate on specific issues, and they want to keep that data over time. And then the premium subscriptions are personalized suggestions based on your data, and then actually have the assistant doing some other things with the data. And the second part of the business model is standard stuff that's done in social media. It's advertising. But again, marketing to brands that fit the introvert market. I think you'll see a quicker buy-through because people who are introverted, there are certain things that they like and they're just going to buy them. So I think that actually is going to work out well, and we might see great benefit from that. But to be fair, I don't like advertising, so you can opt out of advertising. We hope to do advertising in a way that doesn't bug you, but if you want to opt out of it, you can, but there's a fee associated with that. And then there are in-app purchases, notebooks, which is what I'll demo today. As far as go-to-market, we're looking at organically because I have raised no money and I don't have any money. So we'll recruit introverts as content creators. There is a blog. The blog is live so that people can get their word out there. We market CoreHarmonic notebooks on social media and then provide integrations like Patreon. There are other places where they don't have chat features or integrated features that might want to use a platform like this. This is me. I am the team. I'm a data scientist. As far as my education, my bachelor's degree is in statistics and cognitive science, and my PhD is in public policy from Carnegie Mellon. And I've been thinking about AI for a long time, and I'm really excited to build what I'm building. Oh, and everything I've used is open source, so I'm not paying for anything as of this time other than the hosting. I'd love to raise 110 to launch the beta. I don't think you're supposed to say this in presentations. I'm going to launch the beta without money anyway, but it would be great to have it because user testing is probably the main thing that I need it for. What's built now is, it works and can be used now. Data acquisition and sales revenue is what I'd use the rest of the money for. Okay, so thank you for your time. I should have said from the beginning, I love questions, so you can ask questions at any time during the presentation. Yes?
So I actually have a bunch of questions.
Yes.
The first one is, I don't think I completely understand what it is yet.
Okay.
My first impression was that it's sort of like a private social media platform for families.
It can be for families, yes.
Right? But then you started talking about content creators.
Yes.
Which kind of threw me a little bit.
Okay, okay, go ahead. Do you want me to answer or?
Yeah,
okay. So the first thing is, it's kind of a hybrid, and that's one reason I'm so glad you guys are here and it's really helpful to me, is because how to speak about it. I'm a data scientist. For me, this is a data collection engine. And the way that you express yourself, sometimes you express yourself to the public, which is why there's a blog. Sometimes you're expressing yourself to your friends and your family, and that's internal through text or chat or even certain messages. And in the way that this is built, especially for introverts, you can conversate with yourself. You leave yourself notes. That's part of it. So from the data collection side, I'm trying to cover all aspects of that. From the social media side, as someone, I don't call them users, I call them sharers, because for two reasons. One, the idea of addiction in social media is a real thing, so I think users shouldn't be the term that we use. And two, sharers is actually what they are. The people who are sharing information with me and other people and trusting me to do something with it. So that hopefully clarifies the purpose of it, maybe. Do you want to say more? Okay.
I was kind of picturing like a wall social media context, right? So it's kind of like a big superpowered group chat is what I was picturing.
No. Okay, so the blog exists here. This is the blog. It's free. Anyone can post to this blog. The thing about this blog is there are no followers, there are no comments, there's no spam. I imagine it kind of like going to see the Mona Lisa. If I'm going to spend time and create something, I don't want comments all around the Mona Lisa about people saying he should have used more pink or whatever. Like, that's not the experience I'm looking for. I'm looking for people to take time, create something meaningful, and have it exist. So this is the blog, and again, for introverts, it's a way that you can express yourself. You have ads to make revenue, but like this is my blog on the future of recommendations for CoreHarmonic. It doesn't have, you can't comment here. If you want to comment, you have to join the platform, be connected with me, and then you can comment inside that space. Does that make sense? So it is a different form of communication. What we're trying to maximize is not number of eyes on a view, we're trying to maximize people actually reading your content and engaging with it in a meaningful way. And I think because of what is happening with AI content and the other word, it's just going to get harder. And so this is an opportunity. What's that?
Here you're saying there's no engagement at all, right?
No.
All you can do is read it.
All you can do is read it, except that's why the share buttons are there. I tell people if you want to engage, there's like 102,000 platforms for that, and that's totally fine. But here is a space, and again, it goes back to the introvert aesthetic. I don't know if I want your comments on it or not, but if I do, there's a place where I can get it, and I can get it from trusted individuals. And then if I just want to put it out in the world, you absolutely can. And you only have to look at it when you want to look at it. Does it make sense? Yes?
So I would say I self-identify as one of the people that you spoke to in your introduction.
Okay.
Someone who gets kind of frazzled out by social media, and I've sort of gone along enough in the process that I've ended up kind of where you said, I use a bunch of group chats with different groups of friends and family and stuff.
Do you do that on your phone, or do you have an app for that? I'm sorry, I'm data hunting. I'm always data hunting, so.
Largely phone. Sometimes like I prefer things that I can switch between both.
Right.
But what kind of occurs to me about about that is I actually really like the engagement among that safe group with sort of intentional people, and I know roughly kind of where they're at when I post the thing. And so, yeah, I sort of don't think of, to me, the pain point isn't that I'm getting the comments, it's that I've sort of thrown it out into the world and the comments I'm getting are coming from anywhere, versus I see people posting in group chats or sending things on Snapchat where you get to really control the set of people that see it.
Right. So that's how this works. So this is, and I'm kind of scrapping my like go in order, whatever. So this is the space where you can write notes or information. Let's get write notes or information. So you have the notes that you write yourself. And I'm just going to point a couple things out because I want people to say that's a dumb idea if it is a dumb idea. But the way that the UI is, you only see the first 2 notes, but you can see everything, right? So again, it's trying not to be overwhelming. You have your mentions, and I talk about coach communication. There are lots of different ways to use the app with coaching and stuff like that, but you have your mentions. So let's see. So you see this. This is a note. This is a coach helping me like work out. Chords are the places where you can respond to different things, and I'll show you that in a second. And this is the actual note and the actual workout, right? So the content, the data is presented in a way that it's easy to consume. We know exactly who it's from, and we know who has commented on that. So let me just get an example of something with chords on it. So you have your mentions, you have what's out in the public, and then you have your compost pile. So there's just, sometimes there's trash, right? That you just don't want, you put, it doesn't belong with everything else. So like say, your dog died or whatever. So this is where the chords come in, where you have messages from other people that say, he'll be missed or whatever. And these are only people who are connected with you. So I'm going to go on to just say about the connections. So I call people connects, not users, not friends, not, it's connections. These are people you know, and you know them in different ways. So when you add a relation, you can add them by email or phone. Let's see. I'm not good at typing with just one. So I'm going to just misspell this to say, if you're not I'm not going to email that person, I'm not going to whatever. If you want to reach out to that person and say, join this social media, that's how you do it. But if that person is in our system, they're there, but you can't actually send a connection unless you actually know stuff about the person. Now this might be on the list of stupid ideas, but it is part of what's wrong with social media to me is there are a lot of bots and people who are not human, which is fine, but if you're not identifying who those people are, it can be really confusing. And in this case, you just have to answer, questions. This person has a high bar. You need to know 4 things about this person in order for them to actually connect. But what it does is it says, you can set it whatever, like you could set it to 1 and you could put on your social media, my favorite sport is soccer, and anyone can connect with you. Or you can make it very specific, so very few people, but it forces you to have a connection before. Yes?
So these answers, they have to be set up by the other person in their profile, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that feels like a red flag in the sense of revealing the types of security questions and answers that other sites use to validate their account.
But the reality is, you can put anything in there. Your favorite soccer could be...
No, I understand, but then nobody can connect with you.
So this is the thing. For some people, they want to have the conversation before they connect in real life, right? So I'm calling you up and saying, I'm getting on this new platform. I want to connect with you. What are your 3 words? And then you have a conversation with that person. It's a continual.
A little bit different. I'm saying if I put in my profile, okay, my general practice is to keep a record of all these security questions and answer them with random strings, right? But if I was going to answer them for real, when did you meet your spouse, or this kind of thing,
right?
then effectively I'm uploading to your platform like the ability to reset arbitrarily many of the accounts that I might have.
Well, it's your choice how you decide to do your accounts. But again, I call the people who are on here sharers because they are sharing information about everything and anything, and including ideally that, I mean not ideally, but that. These questions, the reason why there are 20 of them and they're pretty random and people can put in anything is they don't necessarily have meaning for me in what I'm doing other than verifying who someone is. If someone were to, I mean, it's all encrypted and ideally nobody gets their hands on this. But you're right, I can't really control how people do their own security, but mathematically there are 20 questions and you can put anything in them, and really you can be the person who says, my favorite sport is soccer, I'm on this new platform, holler at me. Or you could be the person that there's 4, try and guess. Like, and then nobody contacts you. I
guess my question is more along the lines of, I know LinkedIn does something like you reach out to request to connect with somebody and then you either approve it or deny it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. This seems more like you have to reach out to them first. They give you the secret password and then...
It is a little bit more like that. And again, it may be a bad idea. I'm not excluding that, but I do think it's something that will appeal to introverts. This is not a place where you probably will have 500 friends. This is the place where you're probably going to have 150, 200. And I make it real easy to bump people off. It is a place where these are your closest ride or die type people. And so for me, if you're a person who says, I want the bar to be high, it's fine. And you navigate that. Yes?
Facebook already has something like this.
Wait, say that again?
Facebook already has something like this. You can set your profile so that people can't send you friend requests. In their case, I think it allows you need to know their phone number.
Yeah. It's more public information usually. This is more kind of like a math game. And it also could be kind of gamified, but go ahead.
Can you read those people's private, if you know that person, can you look at their questions and answers anytime you feel like
No.
It's private.
Yeah, it's private.
Because I know Facebook is careful about, you can, like your marital status and all that can all be shown or hidden to anybody you want.
Yeah. No, this can't. It has to be, yeah.
So you can only see it at the time that you request it.
Yeah, it is specifically for the use of requesting connection. After that, it means nothing. Let me go here.
Sure. So you mentioned that your goal is quality connection between people.
Yeah.
You want in my understanding, a vibrant, rich, and deep social media life for this specific subset of the population.
Mm-hmm.
So, you as a data scientist, I'll be shocked if you don't have an answer for this. What is your way of determining what a quality connection is?
Right.
Because if you haven't, I would be shocked if you haven't quantified that yet.
So, I have. Let's talk context. So, in the context of using this specific platform, what it will look like is sharing meaningful conversation. So here, let's move to notebooks. Notebooks, like I said, notebooks are just collections of data. I have a notebook on relationships. This is all MVP, so it's not very pretty. But this is the shared to-do list between 2 people. They sci-fi books to read. They like to read sci-fi books. They make a list. They do. General to-dos, decide to have dinner or a menu. Task list. You have your shared calendar. You have the values of that relationship. And again, this is about the meaningful. So how I would measure it is, if you decided to join the platform and you had a partner that joined the platform, I would ask and see how much of the stuff you might fill out. There's an FAQ for like stuff that couples care about. If you have kids, like who's the gardener and who are the babysitters. Parking lot, things that are to be left for later. And then of course, because I'm a romantic, love notes, which I put some example love notes in here. There's a love note from President Nixon to his wife, which is actually quite lovely, and Reagan's is my favorite. So, how I would quantify it on this platform is engagement with the notebooks and how much people actually filled out, how often they change, how often they use it. And again, meaningful communication, clear communication, these are the actions that come from clear communication. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yes?
So I remember using Friendsters years and years ago, and which in many ways was very, kind of similar.
Uh-huh.
So, the issue they had was with engagement, because whether it's Facebook or Instagram, and maybe we're talking about general population, extrovert and introvert, is that people are more interested in, it appeals to their narcissistic self. So people are very interested in sharing, but not necessarily looking at what other people put.
So this is where I want to challenge that premise. I believe most, if not all, social media, because of the business model that they use, is really going for the extroverted style. They need people to share. They need people to engage. They need people who are going to reach out to lots of different people. I'm not saying this is wrong or a problem. I'm just saying that that's not how everybody operates, and that's not how everybody gets value. And so the idea is, I do believe, and I, again, could be wrong, the market will tell me, but I do believe that there are human beings who are not as focused on those particular goals, or those are secondary goals, to having these kind of meaningful engagements. And
you see, for me, I consider myself an introvert, so I don't have any social media. I had Facebook,
right.
I posted. So for me, even something like that, I would, and especially the paid version, because I'm not sure what's your expectation in terms of revenue.
Are you? I'm just having a moment here. Are you saying you might be a customer?
No.
Okay, you're saying you would not be a customer.
No, because for me being an introvert, I have my friend's phone number if I want to talk to them.
Right.
Close group of friends, I speak with them.
Okay.
But on top of that, if I had something like this, I don't see why I would have to pay for something, because you're competing.
It's free.
Yeah, but then how do you generate revenue?
Right. What's generating revenue are the notebooks, and I'm going to show you another one right now. Actually being on the platform is entirely free. So no, you could be on there. The idea is to add value to your conversations and say, you have had a conversation with your friend who just learned to knit, and now they're obsessed with knitting, and you know nothing about knitting. If you wanted to pay for recommendations or information that really helps you communicate with your friend about knitting, that's what I can offer you. I'm taking information from your experience that you feel comfortable with. I'm not taking anything that you don't, and offering you other ways to engage and enrich that relationship. So let me give you another example of a notebook. This is the body scan notebook. Again, thinking about data collection. This is an opportunity for people to, if you're in pain or you're having problems, you can come here and they rotate and you put a dot on where the pain is. This is an opportunity to collect a data point. This data point, and again, this is where the data scientist in me and why I built it this way is, the data point of a pain at this particular point in time, plus the data point that you had oysters the day before, plus the data point that you were out with your friend. All those data points can be meaningful in a way that can help you live your life better. And that's only if you choose to share them and you want them. But I know for a fact that putting a lot of these data points together can really change and enhance how you interact with the world. Yes?
I really like the idea and concept. I was just curious with the data collection, are you using that for businesses, or is there a way for businesses to use the platform, or is it just for consumers?
Anyone can use it. The way that it's set up is, I want people to recognize their responsibility in creation. So where is it? Okay, let me go here. So say you make processed food, your wife who does shredded sauerkrauts. This is another notebook. This is all foods, anything you consume. So foods, herbs, cannabis, personal care, whatever. So say you're one of these companies and you engage with something. So I do ask, I have a checkbox here for promotion. So if you're promoting something, I just ask people to put it. I am a total free speech person. Like, if you have explicit content, just mark it. So people who don't want to see it don't need to see it. But if if that's what you're into, we can serve that to you. If it's a promotion, let it be a promotion. As far as like the money side of it, there are two ways this can go. I could go to all the companies and say, look, I have a platform where people have agreed that if they have eaten this chocolate chip cookie, that it's okay for me to send you an email and let them know and give them their phone number. And so instead of being advertised to, people can actually go out and learn about who's using their product and then have that kind of conversation, not necessarily on this platform, but create their own platform. I don't know what the value is in the market of that, because it looks a little like a focus group that's, focus group based on people who actually chose the product. So that's one way to market it. And the other option is that you can come on and actually have, I have places for actual ads. But you could also, so for like the cannabis one, I personally do not partake, so I don't know a lot about it. But my understanding, it's a whole thing, right? And so you can come, I can go to one of those markets and say, let's talk about how to put this together. And the type of people who like this particular strand also like potato chips. And so when those are the kind of insights that marketers want. And I don't want to make it just about marketing. One of the reasons that I created it this way is because of health. We interact with so many different chemicals and places and things and all of that, and we don't really understand how all that comes together. So it can be used for lots of things. Does that answer your question? Absolutely. Okay, I don't know his time.
No, you're good. You're
okay.
good. I'm going to jump in real quick.
Okay, you're going to take it.
Yes.
Thanks.
We're going to do a scheduled break really quickly. She does have one more element, and I am going to...
I don't have the training element, so that's it.
We can talk about it briefly.
Okay.
We can talk about it briefly. But it's so incredible because, one, you can see how open Alicia is to iterating and feedback, right? She's genuinely coming to us very, very early in the development process and saying, do I have a problem you're willing to pay to solve? And that it's safe to ask in this community. You can see everybody else helping out, right? They're like, I would pay for this, I wouldn't pay for this. It's not a bad thing to say you wouldn't pay for this. Let her know now before she spends all her time and money developing this, right? So here's a really helpful exercise I'm gonna ask us all to try. I'm gonna repeat anything that's said into the mic so we have it for the video camera. But imagine this is your product for a moment. And you're about to go take it to a bunch of people for exactly what Alicia did just now, to get customer feedback. This is a really hard and uncomfortable process. It's even harder and more uncomfortable when it's your own product that you genuinely love, that you might have built for yourself. And then you have to go ask other people to give you very honest feedback because you don't want them to lie to you and tell you that it's fantastic when they wouldn't buy it. So with that in mind, if this was your product, I'd love to hear from everyone in the room what questions you would ask in the customer interviews to understand if this is a problem that people are willing to pay to solve. What a great exercise, right? Can you raise your hand if you've done this for your startup already? See a couple people? What's one of the questions you asked in your customer interviews?
Pay.
How much will they pay? Great question to ask. Did we ask that yet? She gave a price.
No, because we haven't got to the point where people would pay.
There we go.
That's where you got to start.
Question over there.
What I've heard is something very effective, like how upset would you be if I took this away from you?
How upset would you be if I took this away from you? Imagine this product already existed. Can you raise your hand if you would be upset that it was taken away from you? Oh, you got a couple. That feels good.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else have done customer interviews for their own product before? Yes. Give us a question that you asked in customer interviews.
How satisfied were you? Just the whole user experience, how satisfied were you?
Yeah, how satisfied were you? Another great version of that is, would you recommend this to a friend? So all great ways to be like, did I give you value? Should I actually build this? All right, let's step into this mindset. If this was your product, what would you ask in customer interviews besides the 3 questions we just mentioned? One over here.
Simple, just like, what was your favorite part?
What was your favorite part? That's a good question. One more.
I don't quite know how to phrase it, but sort of the opposite. Like, what's the part of this that like I focused way too much on that doesn't stand up to you, sort of thing?
I don't know how to word that either. I'll say it into the mic so we maybe get crowdsource some answers. But what is the part of this that created more friction? Is that right?
I think it's just like that I clearly like put too much weight on that you like glaze over for. It doesn't mean anything to you.
What did I spend a lot of time talking about that you don't value that much?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Couple more. One.
What makes you want to use this product over anything available and why?
Ooh, what makes you want to use this product over anything available and why? One more in the back. Very back. Chris, let's go.
Okay, so did we consolidate or remove any applications, or what process did we streamline for you?
Did we?
Right. So if you took different social media apps and you took like different like Jira software or whatever, you consolidated both of those with your like FAQs. You pretty much took 3 things, consolidated together, and put it on a secure network, right? Like I would expect somebody to extract that.
So did we streamline a process for you?
Yes.
Gotcha. Chris is also an engineer, so as a business person, I would ask, what do you have to do today because this product doesn't exist? Yeah, you can try different versions of it. It's A/B testing. Okay, we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here.
I feel like you just said basically mine, but like, you know, here's what I think this would be useful for. How do you do that right now?
Yeah, here's what, and that's specific. It's saying, here's specifically what I think this is useful for. How do you do that today? It's 2.
So I don't know if it was asked already in a different way, but are you already in another social media? Which other social media apps are you using?
Fantastic.
Because that would mean they would give up something else to this one.
Yeah.
But if you're already using Facebook and using tons of filters and have their friends,
Yeah.
then maybe they're not likely to switch over.
So I always say social media alternative.
Yeah.
Because I don't expect anyone to switch over. It's too much history. It's too much history. What I expect to happen in the next 6 months to a year is that it's going to get noisy and loud, and it will be really interesting to see how well you can hear your friends in the context of all of the information that's out there.
So I'll add 2 pieces of color to that. If you're able to say, this is the thing that we're going to replace, like for example, if someone said, today I use Netflix and I wouldn't need to do that anymore. 2 pieces of information I'm trying to get. How large is your market size? If I can go to investors and say the 2 million people currently on Netflix are my target market, they're like, oh, cool, very clear vision. Also, I know exactly what to target for my ads and things like that. The second version of that is, how much are you paying today for your social media alternatives? And I know money is not what we normally pay, but if the answer is privacy or anything else, it's my mental health, it's my this. Those are both really great ways to help make your market validation and your investment story more clear too. There was 2 over here.
Yeah, I remember another like typical one, which is if you could wave a wand, like what's the wish you would make for this product? What's the feature you would just invent?
If you could wave a wand, what would you do with this product?
It's sort of connected to that. Is important for user interviews. A user will have ideas about what they want. You don't have to take them literally on the feature, but the need it speaks to. If everybody's like, I wish I could like do this thing that isn't like that you can't actually implement.
Fantastic.
It's the need.
Fantastic. Okay, and one more over here.
How much time per day would you spend on my app?
Oh, I love that question. How much time per day would you spend on my app? Okay, Alicia, I'm going to ask you to pick your favorite question, and we're going to ask the group. Pressure.
It is pressure. I don't know if I can pick. There's so many good ones.
I'm sure everyone will be willing to connect with you afterwards as well. If we were to pick one so that we can also get this on video and help other people out, which one would you love to get feedback on now?
I think I like the magic wand question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to wave a magic wand, what would you do with this product? Anyone have thoughts on what they would do with this product if they could just wave a magic wand?
I would sell this to teams of introverts to literally filter out all the noise of the rest of the internet and just have that collective group of people that have a clear and concise vision to continue the business process forward. Oh my gosh, the use cases I can think of right now in the business I've been in, oh, this would have solved all life.
What business are you in?
Say again?
Can you say what business you're in?
Yes, I'm doing a startup, a CTO of a startup for like t-shirt printing and stuff.
Startup
Okay.
CTO of a t-shirt building business would love to see this built for teams of introverts to just filter out noise. Over here.
Kind of feels related to that, but sort of like subset sharing. To me, the thing on Facebook is no matter what group I choose to share it to first, someone else can choose to share it further and expand the group of people I share it to.
Yeah.
If I was able to instead say share to at most this group of people, and then like if a friend of mine comments on it, only the group of people that overlaps me and my friend can see that thing.
Nice.
Interesting. Okay, over here.
Yes, I was going to say something a little bit similar. I think if you expand, it looks like you took a simple graph and just started putting nodes on them. I think if you make it more fractal in nature,
Okay.
like a node can be another graph, such that you have a so from the to keep it on the magic wand perspective, I would probably make it an amalgamation of some of what's been said. Where like I had that idea for the family shared space, and he's talking about a work thing. I can see a situation where you'd have dedicated sort of focused topical environments, such as product support or sales channels, or sort of replacing Slack type communications within companies. If you could have, but you would need more in it, right? Like there would need to be authentication and authorization and policy type controls, things like that.
You know,
with a magic wand, I think that's what I would probably go for, because I think it becomes a chameleon that you can kind of adapt to anything.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true.
And if at the end, if the product really is the data,
That's
okay, which is
the secret sauce, honestly.
what you're
Yeah.
really looking for is to collect the data and then exploit the relationships.
Please
Right.
not exploit, but the other whatever
You
word.
want to exploit them. I mean, exploit I guess has like a negative kind of
Right,
But
but I hear what you're
if
saying.
going to exploit them.
Yeah,
to gain
that's
insight from
absolutely.
whatever,
Yeah.
right? Then the goal should be, I think, to maximize the ability to collect the data, especially given special contexts from which you could infer additional
Right.
meaning, and really reduce the signal to noise ratio.
That's the
right?
key. Yeah.
And it seems to me like ultimately, I know you say you're not trying to replace social media, but you kind of are, because what you're saying is, okay, eventually there's going to be so much garbage when you go to look for what you're looking for on social media that
Yes, I don't want to go on camera and say that I'm sure they think about it all the time because they have huge amounts of data. But when you are doing AI with huge amounts of data, you can get some really weird things happening. And so I'm really curious to say, like I watch the algorithms all the time. I've discovered some really strange things that just happen because a lot of them are black boxes and you can't really see everything that's going on, especially with that much data. And so one of the things that's helpful here is starting from ground zero, I know what the data is and how it's growing and what it's doing, similar to what you're saying.
So as soon as you start collecting data, you're not going to know what it does either. The point is that there
True.
are so many edge cases. That's why the large data, it's like the law of large
so
numbers.
just for the sake of time,
Okay,
I'm going to take
sorry.
that last one over there. I know there's more people who are interested, but I'm also going to give it back to Alicia. She'll do her last segment, and we can all have 15 minutes to talk to each other after.
I would love to have an AI that has access to the local context of a particular chat, but then is also able to search the internet and knows when to just chime in and chat. So it just posts as a participant in the conversation based on that local context and access to other information
Right.
in like an appropriate way. So it's not overwhelming you or like posting notes on everything.
Nice.
It's just
That's a great magic wand request. Great magic wand request.
There was one more here.
You want to hear it?
It was just going off of what you said. I don't think she's trying to completely replace the other social medias. It's like if you like drinking Sprite, odds are you'll probably drink something else at some point in your life. So it sounds like she's just adding, iced tea to the equation and saying if you like this, you can pick it up when you want, or if you're in the mood. Because people aren't so hard set and using one set of tech. Depends on how you're feeling that day. So that's honorable.
It's beautiful what early product development looks like, right? And we got to channel a whole community for it. This is so fascinating. To me, it's crazy fun, and hopefully it's crazy helpful.
Extremely helpful.
It's something that
Super
you will all
helpful.
want to do with your own products. I'm going to hand it over to Alicia for one last element that she's building out in her product, and she would love to hear our feedback on. And then I'm going to close with anyone who wants to do this in the future with their own product and want to be a part of demo time. I'll tell you what that looks like in a bit.
So originally when I demoed, there were two things that I was going to demo, which is so I've been thinking, let me back up. I've been thinking a lot about the go-to-market strategy, and who specifically do you target to start something like this? And I started with relationships, so trying to create value in data with relationships and then kind of expanding from there. The second place I thought it would be useful would be in training, which is closer to what you're saying, but I think yours is a little bit expanded. So when I started working on it, I was struggling with what is the exact problem? And so I kind of just stopped on that. And now that you've given me some information, I think I'm going to go back and revise what I had, because that wasn't what I was thinking the problem was. I have lots of different, I'm just a data person. I just love data. So astrology people are data people. And I thought, well, I'm not a hardcore believer. I want the proof, which is why, data would be helpful. But that community is a very strong community that does use technology, so I thought that might be a way to go. But then also the exercise space. Because although there are lots of exercise apps and, food apps, they don't actually have information about the rest of your life and who you spend time with and what else is optional. So if, an example, and again with people's permission, if I have a friend who just started Pilates, I hate Pilates, but they've started Pilates and they keep talking about how much they love this particular Pilates class, then maybe there's a place to serve up the Pilates ad over time to say, it's not about Pilates, it's about this particular person who does Pilates with your friend who you trust. And this is the recommendation. This is how I wish the internet worked. I want the recommendation from the person I know knows enough to give me the right recommendation. And so this is how we're trying to build it. So with exercise, with health, with food, all of those places, it's data collection, but it's also giving it back to you in a meaningful way. So that's all I have to say. Sometimes I feel like, yeah. Are there any other questions? Your feedback has been tremendously helpful. Maybe if a show of hands of, maybe proof is in the pudding. I do have a call to action, which is on my blog, which is to sign up for the beta. If you're willing to sign up for the beta, that would be a great help to me and let me know that you're interested. I think what is extremely helpful today, listening to your feedback and also me just talking about it, I'm getting clearer and clearer about how to talk about it. Because in my mind, this is a gigantic, masterful data web of information that's trusted that I can use to help people make better decisions. But that's not something that is a product that people want to use necessarily because they can't see how that helps them. So, yes.
What you just said, can you say that at the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is all on tape, please.
Yes,
let me make sure I get it.
You just said, what's the bumper sticker? Say that at the
I thought people wouldn't get it because when I talk data, people are like, maybe it's just my family where eyes glaze over and they just don't care.
Reiterate it throughout the presentation at the beginning so that if people don't get it from the first bumper sticker, it hits them throughout.
Okay. That's very helpful. Because I just...
There was just, I wish you said this 30 minutes ago.
Thank you. I will make sure to say it first thing from now on. I don't know how nerdy I get sometimes, and I can get nerdy. Yes?
I might have missed this, but I'm still a little unclear on this. What do you need from us besides the call to action for that little bit of money?
The call to action...
Obviously money.
Yeah, money would be really helpful, or work is also helpful. Like any means of getting money is helpful. Telling people about it is helpful. Sharing the video would be helpful. I was really thinking a lot about go-to-market strategies, and you guys have helped me tremendously, and also some other strategies to like make some money with it, even if it doesn't go to the public so quickly. I can do some things on the side for some corporations. Someone had said something?
Put a
Yes.
donation button on the website.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
I'll give you $5.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that would be my first $5. Yes, I will do that. Thank you. Yes.
Just related to the insight about the data branding bumper, I think the single biggest sticking point you'll have is like sort of a decade down the line of development of this thing, people are going to understand that they want to be data scientists of their own lives. Right now.
That's a really good, can I use that? Is that okay? Because that's really what it is. There's so much information in our daily lives that, I mean, I'm a little bit older, so I've gone through, but I also have nieces that are 3 years old. The amount of information that they know is just immeasurable, but it needs to be organized. It needs to be useful. It needs to be like information. I know we're in AI where it's like just more data, more data. More data does not necessarily mean more meaningful or more helpful. Can I use that too? Gosh, you have a wealth. Yes.
One more over here.
Two questions. One is about who owns the data, and the other one would be, do you have? I mean, I don't know if you have any liability for the data that's going up there, especially if it's user generated.
Yeah. Okay. Who owns the data? I am following everything that Europe's doing because I want everything's going to be international anyway. I don't know when America's going to get on board or if they ever will. But whatever Europe is doing as far as regulation, I'm following that. And then I listened to a talk, the guy who started Telegram, I forget his name. He gave one of his first interviews. It's with Tucker Carlson. It's a very good interview if you're into that sort of thing. And he's in Dubai because but he talks a lot about how you do free speech in a way that's meaningful. So that's one reason it's 18 and plus. So that helps with that. I'm really hoping that the audience, there are just so many ways to prevent, it's hard to get on the platform in a meaningful way and create connections. So there shouldn't be a lot of people who are just trying to be a pain. It's a pretty decent bar to entry, as opposed to on Twitter and Facebook, the bots it's just really so much easier to just get on there and kind of create havoc. There's really not a lot of incentive here to create havoc. You're not going to get more followers. You're not going to get more likes. It's just not a place where creating havoc helps. If you want to write a blog post that just says shit 59 times and post it publicly, I'm fine. Shoot, it's art, whatever. Like I don't have a problem with that. Explicit stuff stays on the platform, so I don't have a problem with explicit either. If there is exploitation, if there's evidence of like stuff that's really illegal, but as far as like if you feel barring something illegal, I really don't have a problem. You don't like vaccines? Fine. You like vaccines? Fine. I really, because again, your audience, there's the public part, but your audience are your friends and family. And when you say something kind of out of whack, they're probably going to say, that's kind of out of whack. Maybe you should take that down. Maybe that shouldn't be in the public. I want a space where it kind of self-monitors naturally, because when human beings actually conversate and talk to each other and like listen to each other, that happens naturally. It's not something you actually have to work at. It's something that if the natural, will happen.
In real life, what prevents people from overstepping their bounds is usually physical force. Right?
It can be, but shame also does it, and being ostracized. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical, but the community usually comes in and says, that was a little bit harsh, or that was the community will usually respond. If your community is the whole world, to me, again, it goes back to like that Mona Lisa pizza, like going to see the Mona Lisa and someone commenting he didn't use enough pink. Like, who are you? Like, okay, like, but when it's your closest friends and family and people who know you, then it's like, oh, maybe pink might be,
So let's give both of our presenters a huge round of applause. We have 10 minutes before the next session, so you can run up to them and ask them all of the questions. Again, we have Tony with Bot Close. If you would like to scan his QR code and try his technology out, that is what will help him the most. And if you would like to sign up for Alicia's waitlist, that is what will help her the most.
Please do.
If you would like to demo, please reach out to me. Please come find me, ideally today, and let me know that you want to be doing this next month. We can make sure that you get one of the 3 slots. And I will just say there's only one rule. You must be able to demo something. It cannot be a sales pitch. As long as it is a demo, you are allowed to ask for whatever help you want, but it cannot be a sales pitch. Other than that, please feel free to follow everyone on LinkedIn. This has been a beautiful session with everyone. I love seeing this community build and help each other out. So thank you all so much for being part of today's session. Thank you.